Welcome to another edition of Tech Talks with NASSCOM Insights. This is Neha Jain, and I lead the ESG and talent vertical at NASSCOM Insights. Today, we have come together to discuss what makes sustainability a key priority for tech companies. In this discussion, we'll focus our talk on increasing significance of sustainability in tech companies and the initiatives they are taking to enable sustainability in their organizations. On behalf of NASSCOM Insights, I would like to welcome Aurobinda Nanda, co-founder and deputy CEO, Product Engineering Services, Happiest Minds, and Amit Kulkarni, lead sustainability office and head power and utilities, L&T Technology Services. Welcome, Amit and Nanda.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for having us on this webinar.
Thank you. Just a little more about what they do. Nanda is one of the founders and deputy CEO of Product Engineering Services business unit at Happiest Minds. He is responsible for all engineering, technology management, and operational activities of PES. Along with this, he is also responsible for talent acquisition, learning and development, ESG and CSR activities at Happiest Minds. Amit heads the power and utilities business and leads the sustainability initiatives in L&T Technology Services. He is involved in ideation and execution of innovative solutions around sustainability, gasification of engines, hybridization of distributed energy sources, electrification solutions, and digital solutions for enhancement of operational efficiency of renewable farms. With that, I welcome again both of you and would like to, take this discussion forward. And as we just said that, we'll talk about why sustainability is becoming an important focus for technology companies. And maybe, we can start with, the initiatives that, have been done and taken at your end. So maybe with that, maybe I can start with you, Nanda, and then maybe Amit can follow.
Okay, before we start it off, just a little bit about Happiest Minds. We are a mindful IT company. We are in the business of enabling digital transformation for enterprises and technology providers by delivering seamless customer experiences, business efficiency, and actionable insights. We would like to call ourselves as a mindful IT company and at least an Indian IT company which brought in mindfulness into the IT industry. And we position ourselves as a born digital and born agile company. Now, if you really look at what we do besides the technology aspects, being mindful, being a key integral part is also about being mindful about our environment, about our customers, about our employees, and about the society as large. And one of the key primary reasons is also sustainability as part of that. If we really look at what happened in a couple of years back when actually COVID hit us, right? And all of us went into a completely different world wherein we had to lock ourselves up. Irrespective of so many different things happening, not so good for many people. One good thing that actually happened was we saw that the nature started healing itself because so many different activities stopped. Right? When factories closed down, industries stopped down, commuting stopped, very many things stopped. It created enormous amount of problems and issues for people. But one good thing that came out of that was nature was able to heal itself. And I think all of us have experienced that. That far off mountain which was not visible, the stars which were not visible in the night, the air we were breathing, even animals, birds, which were not there in and around us started reappearing. So in one sense, if you really look at it, sustainability or the impact of not having a sustainable practices, people don't really realize it because it impacts you on a delta basis every single day, every single year. And many people realized that if given a chance, nature can heal itself and it can, of course, help us lead a much better life and we can leave a better world for our future, for our future generation. So that kind of became an urgent need. Of course, last but not the least, there have been regulations, governments around the world or enacting regulations as to how do you reduce the environmental impact of the business activities that you do, how by proactively we can bring in technologies, sustainability issues, and various other things. The other part why sustainability has become important is if you literally look at how we consume technology, how you create technology, we depend indirectly on a lot of energy and raw materials to produce whatever you produce. It may not be visible to us directly, but the fact that all of us, cloud is so integrated into our life these days, be it in terms of solutions or in terms of what we consume today, cloud is a huge source of consuming of raw power, right? So because of this, technology companies can reduce our carbon footprint, or we can look at how we can minimize our natural resources, minimize our waste. A lot can be done out there. We are also seeing, a lot of our customers also these days are coming back and checking how sustainable our practices are and how we can also help them in driving some of these activities. At Happiest Minds, specifically, if I have to talk about what we do in terms of sustainable practices, we do quite a bit of stuff, but then how much ever you do, it is still a drop in the ocean. A few examples that I can provide at this point of time is the Bangalore office, one of our largest centers, completely runs on solar power as of today. We have given individual cups to our people so that we reduce disposable cups kind of stuff. We have taken care of that. We have stopped giving plastic water bottles in our conference rooms. Obviously, we encourage people to bring their own water bottles, but many a times in the conference rooms, we have eliminated the plastic water bottles, and we give the glass water bottles both to our employees as well as to our visitors. We have a very functional STP within our campus, recycle the water, reuse those water to a larger extent. The cafeteria waste is kind of, reused in whatever, greenery that we have in our campus. Other things that we have also done is we have follow me printers, a very big thing. Many of us do not realize. People many times print, but do not forget to collect the printouts. A good source of wastage of a lot of papers. So I've installed follow me printer so that only when you go to the printer, and then any printer in the campus, and then you can print from that. But if you are not going and triggering it, it just don't print. So that is a few of the examples that we have done there, and it's a journey. I would say that we'll be constantly looking at and implementing quite a lot more stuff in our campuses, and we'll slowly start taking it to our other campuses in India as well as outside India.
Sure. Thanks, Nanda, for that. So, Amit, maybe you can add what L&T does, and then maybe what has been done on the sustainability side.
Absolutely. First and foremost, thanks for having us, Neha. Very interesting. We saw your sustainability report and amazing collection of information. But I come from L&T Technology Services, and we are one of the major global R&D engineering service providers. So we work across multiple domains. So we are working with high tech, we're working with transportation, we work with plant engineering, we work with industrial products, medical, So we kind of are associated with engineering organizations. And whether we like it or not, maximum pollution would happen from the engineering designs, engineering products, because finally that's the consumer focused production that comes in there. And obviously the onus to kind of enable the sustainability element does lie on the engineering aspect in a big way, and we are trying to contribute it from that perspective. We kind of have two facets. Maybe I'll cover the our internal one first, because after all, we need to have a taste of our own medicine before we take it out to the market. But we have pledged a carbon neutral goal from LTT's perspective. We have promised to be carbon and water neutral by 2030. So we have our own pledge. We kind of publish our GRI reports that are available. One highlight I would like to bring out here is, while we have pledged, we have also registered ourselves with SBTi. Now, basically meaning that we are looking at a science-based target. So while there is the CSR initiative, I mean, we do work a lot on the CSR aspect. We have a lot of, various, we follow kind of getting into the cultural diversity, enabling a gender ratio. So those aspects are kind of, inherent to the organization. But while doing that, as we follow science-based target, that basically would mean that we are actually focusing on more defined, definite, and measurable implementations that will enable such conservation. So if you're looking at a water conservation, then we have done a benchmark. We have done an assessment of what our current footprint is. That has been shared with SBTI, and we are just waiting for their registration on our data. And we are kind of working from there to see how each element of conservation, how each element of bringing in a sustainable operations is something that is coming in, and that is more engineering driven. So a lot of things we kind of are doing as our own innovation to kind of bring in such kind of things. So we have built a control system for a complete water management system. So we have kind of rolled it as a demo in our Bangalore office and trying to do the water conservation, which will kind of enable us to track if there are any leakages, if there are pressure coming on pump, kind of look at the demand and supply, how much water is available, water vis-a-vis what is being consumed, for example. Another interesting solution we have implemented in our premises here in Baroda is a primarily renewable driven EV charging station or infrastructure. So we have kind of worked out a solution which is purely driven from solar. It has a battery and inverter, and we are able to kind of charge about 4 vehicles at a time, plus about 4 two-wheelers as well. And since solar is driving it, it is primarily renewable based, because seemingly EVs seem more clean and more sustainable, but then if you're using the power from the grid, we are probably not still doing justice to the sustainability element. So this is what we're doing. We have kind of now brought in hydrogen. So we are also looking at a green hydrogen aspect of how that could come in. We are kind of working in various wherever possible, as Mr. Nanda mentioned. We are also kind of transiting into green energy. We have set up a lot of green solar farms in some of our buildings and moving into more renewable energy aspect. So we are working on both aspects, some of the CSR, gender, some of the small activities that we would do as eliminating plastic from our regular operations, and then bringing in some of the engineering solutions that we could implement, even for that matter, in some of your HVAC systems or generators that are being made smarter to kind of optimize the energy, having some sensor-based lights in the premises. So on both sides we are operating, and we are working towards being the carbon neutral and water neutral by 2030.
So thanks, Amit, for that insight. I think it's good to hear that, as an industry, as a technology industry, we together are working towards the sustainability initiatives, whatever is possible. And I've heard, I see a lot of sustainability reports being come from the larger guys who on a very regular basis talk about what they're doing. Just one thought that I have in mind is, is this driven more from a client perspective also? When I say that, I mean, is there a push from a client side to follow more sustainability led initiatives, because a lot of clients today are looking at suppliers who are themselves driven by sustainability. So is that a key driver, and what have you seen at your own end? So maybe Amit, you start this time, and maybe Nanda can follow.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, frankly, it's going to be a push and pull both, because while customer, there is a kind of a push, we are also pulling our customers to come into sustainability element as well. So, and obviously, I think that's the mantra today. That's a very strong element, because we are investing big time in sustainability, and while we are doing our own internal aspects, we are also kind of bringing out solutions for our customers to enable reaching their goals. Now, first point, basically you spoke about customers asking us to be carbon neutral, or asking us to be a supply chain which is more green. That for sure is coming in, and it's imperative that we should be so. Specifically because See, when you look at sustainability, customers are focusing on scope 1, 2, and scope 3 is something which is more complex to handle. There is still a way to figure out. Maybe scope 1, 2 becomes more defined. I can look at my own product, I can look at my own operations, but moment it comes into scope 3, there is a challenge that a lot of our customers are facing. Now, from that perspective, there are now an alignment with, say, for example, the CDP framework or EcoVadis framework that does mandate that your supply chain also has to be registered. Now, basically meaning that if I am registered with a CDP or EcoVadis, my score is available. And if my score is available, our customers are able to kind of quantify their performance with vis-a-vis the scope 3 because as a supplier report card that is available for them. So this is one aspect where being green ourselves and being registered with some of the sustainability agencies is one part of it. But when we go into the second aspect, especially for us where we work with only the engineering companies, the engineering product, engineering process based companies, we have to take a lot of offerings that kind of become more, enable more sustainability. Now, again, there are two facets here. One, we look at our own customers, they have their own operations. So we are bringing out solutions on how their operations can become more, sustainable. So it could be their manufacturing. Now, can we bring in a better control system? Can we have a better, robotic element coming in? How can we make their manufacturing more sustainable? They would have their own water, system, water, consumption elements as well. Now we have a water treatment team that has been working in solutions around zero liquid discharge, treating and managing the wastewater. So we kind of help customers to identify the right technology, what could be most efficient one, rolling it out at their side. We come from, we work a lot with, renewables. Now bringing in these elements for our customers to see how their, operations can become more green vis-a-vis bringing in solar or hybridizing it, bringing distributed energy sources, enabling an integration, for example, with a storage, to kind of optimize the consumption of power. So these are some of the areas where we see a lot of traction that customers are investing today, because this is not core to the product for a customer, but this is part of their operations, and then they get the carbon credits out of it. So these are some areas which are easily kind of transition to, and that is where they are looking at the transition. While doing that, the second facet that comes is where our customers are also taking sustainability solutions to the market. Because, and that is also where we come in and kind of help into a lot of these areas. We see a lot of traction today vis-a-vis the energy aspect in a big way. Bringing in clean fuels, managing power by from battery storage. One of the very big area today we see is the electrification. This is the one of the very big focus areas, be it automotive, be it machinery, be it any domain today. They are looking at electrification, and by that they would look at any equipment that is on a fossil fuel or is not very energy efficient. How do I bring in more advanced new solutions that can make it more green? Example, we have kind of converted a floor mopping machine, the one which is driven on the floors, from a gas from a diesel fuel to a battery fuel. Now that is not sufficient enough. We are bringing a solution to kind of hybridize it with a hydrogen, because with a battery you are still polluting at the end of life, because battery disposal is not going to be very easy. So then I want to kind of reduce the batteries and bring in, say, for example, a hydrogen as one of the power source as well, to kind of charge it on the move. So you don't have to charge it separately, but a hydrogen will actually use it for charging, and then it becomes more cleaner. EVs are in thing today. There is a huge proliferation of EVs that is coming in. Now today they are still new, start of life for them. But over a period of 7 to 8 years, there's going to be a first phase of the end of life batteries that are going to come out, and that's going to be pretty substantial volume that is going to be available. Now we are working out on a solution where we use the second life batteries. So when the batteries come out of the vehicle, by the time it stops as a ideal performing on the vehicle, it would have consumed around 70 to 80% of its life. But still there is a 30 to 20% of life that would be available for us to consume. So we are building a solution where we are taking these batteries and stacking them up to make a portable charging solution on the ground. So it's not on board but an offshore or off-board solution that we are using to kind of charge such kind of vehicles. A lot of proliferation of hydrogen is going to come in, because batteries may not sustain. While batteries would get into maybe more on the flow batteries, the hydrogen element is going to be coming in as well. So these are aspects, these are the solutions that we are kind of bringing in, and these are some of the aspects that our customers are looking. And last point, if I can just come to, while this is all on their scope 2 and the peripheral, the other areas we are seeing is on the product itself, and that is where we are getting into the product circularity. It comes right from being able to do an LCA, identify the hotspots, and then come up with the interventions. We have set up our own lab for that. We are helping customers achieve their the product circularity, coming with biodegradable plastics, better packaging, sustainable packaging, and those elements. And those are also some of the, it's a start. It is not very completely proliferated from our customer. They are also being tentative. The data is not completely available, but then that is something which will be a big ask in coming time that we will be looking after.
Sure. Thank you. Nanda, your side of the story.
Yes, sure, man. And I would agree with Amit when he said it's a push and pull. But the reason why we are into sustainability is because we believe if we change the way we produce our services or our goods and the way we operate, it is going to make a difference. We are primarily into it because we believe in it. We are not doing it because the customers are demanding it for it in an inward-facing thing. That is one aspect of it. The other aspect, of course, is like Amit said, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. There are certain facets of it because of which the customers have increasingly demanding that the service providers are also becoming or implementing sustainable practices. So definitely there is an ask. We cannot deny that, and hence certain things will be driven by it. We have taken a goal of being carbon neutral by 2030. Our CSR process, theme is one aspect is called Annapurna and one aspect is Vasundhara. Vasundhara is primarily target towards environmental sustainability. Now we looked at very many things, and then ultimately we decided that we want our CSR funds to be targeted towards environmental sustainability. And when you talk about environmental sustainability, you're primarily focusing around water conservation, access to clean drinking water, forest conservation, green cover development, and waste management. These are the primary things that we are focusing on. Now, when it comes to the kind of services we are providing to our customers, we primarily work with few of the industrial and manufacturing companies, travel and transport sector, some of the edutech sector and companies like in those kind of segments. And there is a certain ask. Primarily, actually, our things came slightly differently in the sense that when we started talking about the activities that we are doing towards achieving our carbon neutrality goals and various other things, many of our customers came back and asked us, hey, you are doing so many things for yourself. Why can't you bring some of those practices and help us? And interestingly, many people today we see do not know what is the carbon footprint. When the next stage comes in, I will want to make you carbon neutral. But the very first print is, do we know where we stand today? So majority of our activities today that we are engaging with our customers today is trying to help them know where they stand. And post that, then the journey starts. If this is the amount of carbon you are producing, or these are your practices that you're implementing today, then how can you go forward? So we kind of engage with them, we consult with them, come up with a path to which they can then try to target towards carbon neutrality. And the sustainable efforts or journeys are part of that. It's the same thing. We are working with a few EV kind of companies, battery. I totally agree with you, Amit. I mean, while everyone says, EV is good, but we do not know at what point of time. There are a lot of downstream activities unless and until we start focusing on those, battery just being one of those aspects. How do we recycle those batteries? How can we ensure that batteries do not end in the landfills? And then we have also noticed that each country has their own specific laws against some of these activities. And if you specifically look at India, it is actually a big problem at this point of time. So we are working with a few of our Indian customers specifically to look at how we can help them reuse, recycle, and extend the life of the batteries with the, of the automotives that they are putting it with. So it's primarily that which we are working towards, but we believe we want to leave a better world for our next generation. That's why we are into sustainability, and we want to carry our learnings and our best practices to our customers.
Sure. Thanks, Nanda. So I think a good ending or a conclusion, first importantly, I think the path is still a long way to go. And in terms of making client aware, what is their carbon footprint right now? That is, a lot of companies don't know that also. So I think though as an industry, we are looking at our carbon neutral targets, but from a client side, we still have clients who are not even aware where they are right now. So I think it's a long journey. So I think with that, maybe we'll close that first part of our discussion today, and we'll probably discuss more on the opportunities that sustainability gives us in our next session. So with this, we come to the end of our episode 1, and our conversation with Nanda and Amit will continue. So stay tuned for part 2 of this discussion, where we talk more about sustainability as a rising business opportunity and the key client industries that are front runners with respect to the sustainability charter. Like, share, and subscribe to NASSCOM Community and Insights YouTube channel. Till then, it's a goodbye from everyone here at NASSCOM Insights. Thanks, Amit, and thanks, Nanda. We'll join soon for our next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.